Good morning. How's everybody doing this morning? Good. I love this. 11 o'clock. Y'all are on it this morning. I'm Lily, and I'm just here to talk to you about a couple of things this morning. I want to welcome you if you're here in the room. If you're online, good morning. I want to welcome you as well. And I wanted to tell you, if you're online, did you know that right above where you're watching, there is a tab called The Latest, and you can click that to be in the know of what is happening here at the Summit, even if you're not in the building with us today. So do that if you want to be in the know of all the awesome things we have going on. If you're in the room with us this morning, good morning. You can do the same. You can scan the QR code in front of you, or you can go to the gallery and we can welcome you. If you've brought a guest with you, we can get to know you and give you a little something just to say welcome to the Summit. So if you have been here with us this month, you have heard the phrase "for here or to go" quite a bit, and that is a phrase that usually pertains to food or something that we're eating, but we really want to dive into what does it look like for that to apply to your faith. And so we've talked about what does it look like to have a faith that goes outside of this building and just outside of these walls. And then last week, Pastor Gina talked with us about one anothering one another. And if you don't know what that means, you should look it up, check it out. Check out last week to catch yourself up. But today, Pastor Jonathan's going to talk with us a little bit about the one-on-one relationship aspect of having a faith that's for here or to go. And I wanted to kind of let you know something you may not know. We have beautiful examples of a one-on-one relationship here at the Summit. We have a growing special needs ministry here, and it goes everywhere from the Peak, which is where I get to hang out, all the way up through Kids Summit, all the way into middle and high school. And we have some friends that just have some needs for a different experience. And we want them to have the same awesome experiences that you have. And so they have something called a one-on-one buddy. And a friend of mine named Emma, she is an entertainer by nature. She laughs and dances and sings, and she has a buddy named Tanya. And one week, Tanya wasn't here, and Emma came into the room and immediately said, "Where is my Tanya?" Not "where's Tanya? Why is she not here?" Where is my Tanya? And Tanya has invested so much into Emma that it's a mutual relationship, right? They miss each other. And if you think that that's something you want to be a part of, you want to be somebody's one, we would love to talk with you about that. So you can check out The Latest and click one-on-one buddy volunteer and get a little bit more information about how you can get plugged in that way. I hope that you are ready and prepared for what Pastor Jonathan has for us today. But for now, we're going to stand up and worship together.
Take you at How quickly we forget the God who lives in every day. How easy to lose sight that you reside in the mundane. How quickly we forget the power that's running through our veins, the kind of power that empties grave. Sing, oh my soul, and oh my soul, remember who you're talking to. The only one who death bows to. That's the God who walks with you. And oh my soul, you know that if he did it then he can do it all again. His power can still raise the dead. Don't tell me that he's finished yet. Lest we not forget the voice that's holding back the waves. It was once the voice that told the skies to pour them into place. Let us join in this song of everlasting praise. The only God who empties graves. Yeah. Oh my soul, remember who you're talking to. The only one who death bows to. That's the God who walks with you. Yeah. And oh my soul, you know that if he did it then he can do it all again. His power can still raise the dead. Don't tell me that he's finished yet. Oh, he's not finished. Hey, time and time again you've proven you are who you say you are. Hey, let's sing if you broke. If you broke through the oceans, you could break through these chains. If your word made the mountains, you can move them all the same. If death fell before you and it's still on its face, then the power that raised you. Oh, come on now. If you broke through the oceans, you can break through these chains. If your word made the mountains, you can move them all the same. If death fell before you and it's still on its face, then the power that raised you is about to move again. Is about to move again. Oh my soul, remember who you're talking to. The only one who death bows to. That's the God who walks with you. Yeah. Oh my soul, you know if he did it then he can do it all again and again. His power can still raise the dead. Don't tell me that he's finished yet. Oh my soul, his power can still raise the dead. Don't tell me that he's finished yet. Oh, he's not finished yet.
In the darkness, we were waiting without hope.
without lie, till from heaven you came running. There was mercy in your eyes to fulfill the law and prophets. To a virgin came the word, from a throne of endless glory to a cradle in the dirt. Let's lift him up together this morning. Praise the Father, praise the Son, praise the Spirit, three in one. God of glory, majesty, praise forever to the King of Kings. To reveal the kingdom coming and to reconcile the lost, to redeem the whole creation. You did not despise the cross, for even in your suffering you saw to the other side, knowing this was our salvation. Jesus, for our sake you died. Oh, we sing your praise, and praise the Father, praise the Son, praise the Spirit, three in one. God of glory, majesty, praise forever to the King of Kings. And the morning that you rose, all of heaven held its breath, till that stone was moved for good, for the Lamb had conquered death. And the dead rose from their tombs, and the angels stood in awe, for the souls of all who come to the Father are restored. And the church of Christ was born, then the Spirit lit the flame. Now this gospel truth of all shall not kneel and shall not fade. By his blood and in his name, in his freedom I am free. For the love of Jesus Christ, who is resurrected me. Come on, we lift him up, we sing praise. We praise the Father, praise the Son, praise the Spirit. Come on, sing it to him like you love it. The God of glory, majesty, praise forever to the King of Kings. And praise the Father, praise the Son. We sing your praise. Yeah. And God of glory, majesty, praise forever to the King of Kings. Oh, praise forever to the King of Kings. Praise the Father, praise the Son. Come on, you sing it. Praise the Spirit, three in one. And God of glory, majesty, praise forever to the King of Kings. Oh, we'll praise forever to the King of Kings.
guys could be seated. I love that song. Love that song. One of my favorites. I like that part. Talks about the church of Christ was born. The Spirit lit the flame. I love that stuff. Now, when I was growing up in more traditional church environments, very meaningful part of the service, and maybe you've had a similar experience if you grew up around church, and a lot of churches still do this, and it's a beautiful thing, that at this part in the worship service, after the music, there would be a group of volunteers come forward called ushers with offering plates, and they would pass the plate, and we would give financially because we understood then, and it's always been this way, and it still is, that giving is a part of worship. Financial giving is a part of worship, because when we worship God, we don't get to pick and choose what parts of our lives we worship with. We talked about this. We talk about it all the time. It's a holistic thing. It's every part of our lives, every part of our lives. And so when we worship with our lives, we worship even with a financial part of it. Now, we would come forward, and they would get ready to take the offering, and then they would pray. I love that part. Beautiful part. They would pray over the offering before they took the offering. We would thank God for the opportunity to give. We would thank God for the opportunity to join Him in what He's doing in the community and in the world. We would ask His blessings over the givings and what He would do with it. And we asked God to bless those that were giving it, because He promised to do that, and He does. It was a beautiful thing. Now, here at the Summit, we do things differently. If you haven't figured that out yet, you will soon. We do lots of stuff different. And when it comes to that part of our worship service, that's also different, because did you know that over 70% of the financial giving that happens here is digital? Not physical with passing plates, it's digital. We give through the website, through the app, and some of us, it's automated. So it happens in the middle of the night while we sleep. We wake up the next morning on a certain day, and those things have been deducted. And that's a wonderful convenience to have, by the way. But what you might miss in doing that is you might miss that worship part of it, and have to remind yourself, this is a part of worship. Because it happens digitally, we may miss that in the worship experience. And so from time to time, we're going to do what we're getting ready to do in a few moments. I think it was time for us to get back to a prayer over our giving. Even though, now some of you may be giving today. We have giving boxes, and some of you may actually give digitally while you're here. And that's cool. But if you're like me, it happens during the week. And so that's a huge part of our worship, and we want to acknowledge that. And in a moment, we're going to pray over our giving. That may or may not happen here in this moment today, and we're going to ask God's blessing over it and what God does with it. And I'm going to ask God to bless you for giving, because it's a part of our worship, and we never want to forget that. And so from time to time, not every week, but from time to time, we'll have a moment like this where we thank God for the opportunity to give and join Him in what He does in the world. And specifically, this brings me to what's happening right here in our own state over the last few days. Your social media feed is blown up, no doubt. News feeds, you've seen it. The devastation in western North Carolina and eastern Tennessee, up and down the Appalachian Mountain. It's just horrible. And I don't understand it, but I know it's an opportunity for us to love people. I know it's an opportunity for us to be the hands and feet of Jesus. I have friends, maybe you have friends, we have family in that area, and we've talked to them, checking on them, make sure they're safe, and what do they need. You need to know this. As a church, we're going to respond. We're just right here in our backyard. We're going to respond. We're going to respond both financially, and we're looking into what that looks like. We want to make sure that we be faithful stewards of what God's entrusted to us. So we're going to respond financially, and we're going to respond with manpower. And we're going to be sending teams, and we're going to be kind of sending a reconnaissance team out soon to kind of work with one of our partners there in that part of our state to know exactly what we need to do. So, by the way, if you want to be considered to be a part of one of those teams, if you're like, man, send me, I would love to go help clean up and serve people, then here's what I want you to do. We'd love to know who you are. There's a next step card in the seat back pocket in front of you. It looks like this. And on the back, you can check serving with a team. Just check that box and write with the pen that's also there. You can write in NC, North Carolina, NC. and make sure we have your name and your email, phone number, and we will contact you with the plans we have for actually sending teams to, and it may take a few days, even a couple of weeks to get everything organized as the waters recede and they get a clear picture of what is needed and how we can organize our efforts. So we're going to respond. And when you give, as your giving happens, know that you are helping equip us to not just send teams, but to give financially to help, because this is not going to be a short-term thing. Just about any road that was near a river or a creek is either taken out or greatly compromised. People are stuck still, trying to get people in and out of places. Whole little towns just devastated, wiped out. It's just incredible what's happened. So we want to do what we can to be the hands and feet of Jesus in that way. So let's pray and let's thank God for our giving. Let's thank God for the opportunity to give. Ask God to bless it and bless those that are giving as He promised to do, and that we join Him in helping our brothers and sisters across our state. Father, thank you for allowing us to be a part of what you're doing, making it more and more and more on earth as it is in heaven. And in times like now, when in the western part of our state, it looks and feels like all hell's broken loose. Now, more than ever, we need to step up and give and serve and be your hands and feet to our brothers and sisters there. Father, I ask that you would strengthen the local churches in western North Carolina and eastern Tennessee, that you would help them rise up and help us to know how to help them. Father, for those who are homeless and have lost everything, and those that are scared, those that have seemed to have lost all hope, Lord, help us to help them as best we can. Not just our church, but churches all over the area. May we come together. Forget the name on the sign, forget denominations, forget what our opinions are on things, and just jump in and be your hands and feet. It's time to love. It's time to love one another in this way. Thank you for allowing us to be part of it. Thank you for allowing us to give. That is a part of our worship to you. Take this gift, multiply it, do amazing things with it, and bless those that are giving as you promised to do. And thank you for all these things. In Jesus' name, amen. Thanks for joining us today as we wrap up our For Here or To Go series, where we've been talking about our faith journey, our relationship with God, how the spiritual life is not really a for here or to go thing. It's actually, as we have seen in this series already so clearly, it's a for here and to go kind of thing. And over the last few weeks, we've seen that what God is doing in our world, what God is doing in our lives, it's not just something that happens in a church building. It's not contained in a space or a place. It's meant to be something that we take out there in the community where we live our lives. It's not just something that happens in a 1-hour segment called a church worship service. It's something that literally happens mostly in the 167 hours where we live our lives in between that 1 hour that we gather on the weekends to worship. And that's truly our worship. It's how we live in the 167 hours. It's a to-go thing. And we saw last week that it's not just about me, and it's not just about you. It's not just for here in me. It's about others. It's about other people's lives. And last week we saw this so beautifully, how our lives are connected to one another. Now, I get it. The for here part is natural. It's easy. That's where we start, right? We go to church, check that box. And what God is doing in my life, because that's the most immediate thing, right? Check that box. That's natural. That comes easy to all of us. But it's the to-go part that if you'll pay attention, you'll realize, and we'll see it here in a minute, is actually where the primary focal point of God's message to us is. I mean, both are important, for here and to go, but we naturally lean in the for here part. We have to push ourselves to focus on the to go part, and that's what we're doing today. And I want to do that in a very practical way, give you a practical picture of this in a way that helps you understand that this for here and especially the to go part is a one-on-one kind of thing. It's a life on life on life on life, person to person to person to person kind of thing. And in order to set that up, I want to begin by talking about two of the most important things that Jesus ever said. Two of the most important things that I believe Jesus said. And we don't have everything recorded that Jesus said. And if you're like me, that's a little risky thing for me to say. Two of the most important things that Jesus said, because you're probably thinking what I've been thinking all week is, isn't everything Jesus said important? Right? And how do you rank the importance of what Jesus said? Yes, that is correct. Anything that comes out of the mouth of Jesus, you can rank as important and significant. However, it's pretty simple to see. When you look at everything that we have recorded that Jesus said, that there are a couple of things that he said that seem to be page-turning kind of moments, things that everything else kind of ties back to, things that are like watershed statements and watershed summary principles that things just all point back to. And I want to point out two of them. Here's one. At the end of his ministry, when Jesus had died and rose again, right before he left earth and went back to heaven, he gave his followers this charge. He said, go and make disciples. Go and make disciples. Duplicate yourself. You're a disciple, you're a follower. Go make other followers. Make disciples of all nations and baptize them. And he talked about baptizing in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. And then he said, teach them. Go, make disciples, teaching them to obey everything that I've commanded you. And we call this, in church world, in the theological realm of study, we call this the Great Commission. Maybe you've heard that before. If not, now you have. It is Jesus' Great Commission to his followers, not just the 12 disciples, but all of his followers, not just to the church, but to all of his followers, which includes the church. Go, make disciples, and teach them what I taught you. We'll come back to that. Here's the second, one of the most powerful things Jesus ever said. We talk about this one all the time. Jesus said, I'm giving you a new commandment. And this new commandment summarizes just about everything else Jesus taught. Love each other. But he defined what he meant by loving each other. We talk about this too often, but it bears repeating. He didn't leave it open for interpretation. You don't get to decide what love is. I don't get to decide what love is. You want to know what love is? You don't want to know what love is? You want me to show you? The song. Jesus said, just as I have loved you. That's what I mean by loving each other. Just like I've loved you, you should love each other. And this, in theological world, in the church world, we call the Great Command. Now watch this, okay? The Great Commission is about going with the truth of who Jesus is and what Jesus has done. It's about going with the factual information. You get that? This is very important to understand how these work together. In the Great Commission, we have a message about Jesus. This is who he is. This is what he said. This is what he did. And this is what it meant. And we go to the world with that factual information about Jesus. But the Great Command is a little different. The Great Command is to love as Jesus loved. It's not about giving people facts. It's relational, see? It's a relational thing, not as much of a factual thing. And it's not near as much about the information as it is transformation. Now, you need to know that these two are not at odds with one another. They work together. They go hand in glove. They work step in step. The Great Commission and the Great Command. I've often heard it said, a great commitment to the Great Commission and the Great Command will build a great church. I think it's a great statement. But the Great Commission is about the factual information, about who Jesus is and what Jesus has done. The Great Command is the living out of that. And it's a relational thing, life on life, person on person. Yeah. And that's what transforms people. Now, what's interesting to me is that in general, this is a general statement, the Big C church historically has automatically leaned into the Great Commission more so than the Great Command. And as people, we tend to lean that way because that's just how we are. That's just how that's how we function, right? We think about, you tell people who Jesus is and what Jesus has done for them. Give them the information. You give them the information. It's a lot easier to give people the information, to tell them what they need to know, to tell them what they need to know about who Jesus is and what Jesus does. And we hear people say that all the time. I go and I tell people, I told them, and they're going to hell. I told them that too. I told them this, and I told them that, and I made sure they knew that Jesus loved them, dadgummit, and they need to stop being such a doggone sinner, and we just all over the stuff. We just let them have it. We tell them the information. Now, while that kind of attitude is not right, that's a good place to start. It's a natural place to start, is to tell people the information. They need to know the information, the facts. But did you know that the majority of the New Testament is not spent on helping us know what the facts are? The majority of the New Testament is spent on helping us know how to love each other in a way that is transformational. It's the living that out. The majority of what we're given in the Word of God is not just on the informational side. It's on the relational side, because the relational transformation of what it means to go is the primary focus. Now again, let me clarify one more time. Both are important. Both are crucial. Both are needed. They work together. But when categorically we talk about what it means to go, we gravitate to the information because that's easier to tell them, I told them, box check. It's a lot harder to love them, to do life with them. But that's where the transformation happens. And we saw this last week. Gina did a phenomenal job helping us talk about the one another's and how we are to one another. And if you don't know what that means, go back and watch last week and if you missed that. But that's where it happens relationally. So to summarize, when we talk about to go, we mean not just with informing truth, but with a transforming love. We're not just here to deliver a message of truth, to transfer information about Jesus and who Jesus is and what Jesus did. We are here to engage with each other, life on life on life on life, one on one, and journey with Jesus' love. And that is what changes people more than anything else. I've often heard it said that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. It's the same idea. It's the same idea. The information is important. But what really changes people is the transforming love that they experience from us. And I would argue that when you love people well, they're more open to consider the information that you may want to share with them and need to share with them about who Jesus is to begin with. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing how that works together. And again, the majority of the New Testament talks about this very thing. Let me give you a snapshot. Let me show you. Paul, the apostle, wrote the majority of the New Testament, so he wrote the majority of what we know about this in unpacking Jesus' Great Commission and Great Command and helping us see that the primary focus is for us to lean into living out the Great Command so that we have the opportunity to give them the information about who Jesus is and what Jesus has done. And so in writing all of this stuff to the first Christians in the first century, we need to understand that we need to put ourselves in the recipient's place and just consider that Paul is writing this to us because it applies to us. When Paul writes, like for instance, to the Romans, we are many parts of one body, the body of Christ. We are many parts of one body, and we all belong to each other. Now, I'm going to pause here for a second because as you really consider this, it's going to be uncomfortable. And it's going to push you because it really challenges our American way of thinking. We all belong to each other. This goes beyond casual connection. We belong to each other. Democrats belong to Republicans. Republicans belong to Democrats. And independents belong to everybody. Right? Yeah. Well, I'll save that for the next series. But, yeah, aren't you glad? We belong to each other. This is not just a casual connection. Yeah, I love people. No. You know what this means? This means we are responsible for one another and responsible to one another. We are responsible for each other and to each other. And that's a challenge for those of us who call ourselves Christians and we pride ourselves in being American, right? Where it's all about freedom and it's all about I do what I want to do. I make my own way. I make my own path. You keep your hands off my body. You keep your laws off my body. You keep your opinions off my body because I live by my truth. Because it's the American way. I pave my own path. I do my own thing, and I only answer to God. Somebody in Washington may have told you that, but Jesus didn't. What we find in his word, listen up, we belong to each other. We are responsible for each other, and we are responsible to each other. And that flies in the face of our world of independence, where we like to be our own boss, our own king, and live by our own way and our own truth. Now, I'll just pause for right there, for right now, as a teaser of what's to come in the next series. But folks, Jesus challenges us with a different way. We belong to each other. This is what it means to go. To go. Not just with, I told him, I gave him the information, I let him know. No, this is transforming love. And he unpacks it a little bit further. He says, don't just pretend to love others. Really love them. Do you know what it means to pretend to love others? Is to just say you do and not display that you do. When you display that, when you say that you do, but you don't display that you do, that's pretending. Actually, it's lying, but that's a little harsh. So let's just say pretend. Yeah. Oh, I love everybody. Really? Now, great, fantastic. So, okay. Remember, loving them is love as Jesus loved. And remember what he did for his enemies? Died for them and said, Father, forgive them. They don't even really know what they're doing. He didn't boycott them. He didn't picket them. Yeah, he didn't take down their signs. I'm getting ahead of myself. Love each other with genuine affection. And take delight in honoring each other. Get this. Take delight in honoring each other. This is what it means to go, gang. With transforming love, not just with information about Jesus. Can you imagine what the world might be like, what our community would be like, what our church would be like, what America would be like if just the Christians got this right? If just those who claim to care about this actually did this, and we took delight in honoring each other. All the each others, not just those we agree with and those who agree with us. But what if we took delight in honoring each other? What an affront. What a challenge to us when we often take delight in pointing out each other's faults. We take delight in saying they're wrong. We take delight in saying they're sinning. We take delight in pointing out how each other missed it. Instead of taking delight, what if we took delight in honoring each other? That's what we're called to do. Let me take it a step further. This is what it means to go, by the way. Want it to go? It's for here and to go. It means to be happy with those who are happy. And weep with those who weep. We don't do this very well, do we? In our world, Christians included, we often are jealous of those who are happy. Oh, well, not to their face, right? To their face, we're like, good for you. Yay, that's good. And then as soon as they turn their back, they're like, good grief. It's always her. And he don't deserve that. He ain't worked half as hard as I've. Yeah. Be happy with those who are happy. Genuinely. Don't just pretend. Genuinely be happy with, celebrate those. Celebrate with people who celebrate. Rejoice with those who rejoice. And weep with those who weep. We struggle with that, don't we? We have an empathy problem because it's uncomfortable. I get it. It's uncomfortable. We often just tolerate those who weep instead of weeping with those who weep. And we're quick to advise those who weep how they can fix their lives and stop weeping. Well, you need to do this. You need to change this. Well, no wonder. You just need to, you know what, and I'll pray for you. No. This is about sitting with one another, being with one another, entering into each other's lives. The different way of thinking, isn't it? The different way of living. This is what it means to go. This is what it means. And do you know, upon reflection in my own life, and I think you would agree, when this has happened well in my life, it's been because the key moments of my life are connected to key people in my life. And it's the key people in my life that have come along in just the right time, in just the right way, in just the right place, that God has used to forward those key moments in my life. You've had the same experience, I'm sure. People that God has used to really love. People that God has used to really encourage you and to help you in those difficult times in life. The other day, I was thinking about this, and I actually took out a Post-it note, and I wrote a list. And on this list, I wrote 4, 5, I think there might have been as many as 6 names of men in my life over the last 30 years who have been instrumental in my life. Men who I have learned from, who have taught me so much about leadership, about pastoring, about business, just about life in general. And because growing up as an adult man where my father was completely absent of input into my life, God has used 4, 5, or 6 key men throughout the years. I can see their faces right now. That I've learned so much, and I've experienced so much, and I have grown so much through their influence, and I am better because they were happy with me when I was happy, and they wept with me when I was weeping, and they journeyed alongside of me, not just with information. Here's what you need to do. You need to stop this. No, there's a time and place for the advice. There's a time and a place for wise counsel. That's important. But what they really did was loved me in a way that transformed my life. I bet you have a similar list. If you don't, you probably do. You just need to write it down. People that God has brought, key people that have been a part of key moments. And I think the bigger question is, who do we need to be that for? Who do we need to do that for? Who do we need to be that for? And how do we need to do that in someone else's life? And I'm telling you, this is where to go really happens. And it's best when you experience it one-on-one, life on life. One-on-one, life on life. Person to person. Let me give you another example. To the Galatians, Paul writes, I want you to carry each other's burdens. Carry each other's burdens. He didn't say fix each other's burdens, advise each other on their burdens and why they shouldn't be burdens to begin with, and that burden will go away if you'll just do what I did. No. Carry each other's burdens, and in this way, you will fulfill the law of Christ. Well, that sounds pretty important. What's the law of Christ? Well, we just saw it. It's Jesus' new command. Love each other as I've loved you. That's his law. Everything Jesus taught, summarized right there. Jesus said, here's my law. I'll give you one. Love each other as I have loved you. And everything else Jesus commanded and everything else Jesus asked us to do fits nicely up underneath that umbrella. That's the law of Christ. And when we carry each other's burdens, when we get a shoulder underneath the load that somebody else is carrying, and we lighten their load a little bit and let that load lean on us, that is a picture of us loving as Jesus has loved us, because that's exactly what he has done for us. Maybe you're thinking, well, that sounds nice, but I can't carry everybody's burdens. I didn't say carry everybody's burdens. It didn't say carry everybody's burdens. Just somebody's burden. Just because you can't carry everybody's burdens and you can't, doesn't mean you can't carry someone's burdens, and you can, and you must. A lot of times we like to just give ourselves an excuse and say, well, I can't do that. No, yes, you can. Yes, you must. This is what it means to go. To the Corinthians, Paul wrote this: God comforts us in our troubles so that we can comfort others. The thing you've gone through, that thing you're going through right now, yeah. When they're troubled, we'll be able to give them the same comfort God's given us. You know what this teaches us? Is that what's happened to you and what's happening to you now ain't just about you. Isn't it interesting? The question we always want to ask ourselves is, why me? Why me? Why me? Why me? Oh, we're so self-centered. I'm right there with you. I struggle with the same thing. Possibly, it ain't really about me. It's not really about you. Anyway, maybe God has decided he can entrust you with this experience because he knows he can trust you to help others through that similar experience that are connected to you. What? Yeah, it's bigger. It's bigger. Carry one another's burdens. Comfort one another. Because it's not just about me. It's not just about you. We're connected to each other and dependent on each other. In the good side of things, when we're happy with each other, and the bad side of things, when we're weeping with each other. We journey with transformational love. That's what it means to go. Not just to tell people what they need to know about Jesus, but help people experience the love of Jesus. And that's where lives are truly changed. And the best way I know to experience this is when you step into another's pain. It's just something about pain, something about problems, something about challenges that shape us like nothing else. Wouldn't you agree? So much converges and happens through our pain and problems and our challenges. We're page-turning moments, life-marking, pivotal growth moments. We all know this. We've all experienced this. We are shaped more by pain than we are good things, aren't we? I mean, it's great. It's great. Sometimes something can happen to you that's so great, you'll never be the same. And isn't it fun? But most of the time, what has really made you who you are is the pain that you've survived and the pain that you're working through surviving right now. That's what shapes us most. And the people that God brings into our lives during those times of pain. As we carry each other's burdens, as we comfort one another. I mean, I know we all know that people go through stuff. I know we all know that people have problems. Everybody's got problems. Everybody's got issues. But it's a whole different deal to know the person that has the problem and to know the problem that the person has. That's a whole different thing when it's not an issue, but it's a name. And every issue, I would argue, has a name. behind it. And I'm telling you, when people have done that for you and me, it has changed us. And when we do that for each other, it will bring change. But it takes courage to enter into someone else's pain. It takes courage. It takes courage because entering into someone else's pain is costly. Just ask Jesus. But that's what we're called to do. To love each other that way. To enter into someone else's pain will cost you time and energy. It may cost you money and stuff. It may cost your calendar being arranged and rearranged and adjusted. It's costly. Because let's be honest, isolation is so much easier, ain't it? Isolation is so much easier and because I'm so busy. I got my own stuff. I got my own issues. Pastor, I hear what you're saying. And I'm all about it. Man, I can't wait. When I got my issues taken care of, and when I slow down, and when I get to a place when I can't wait to be able to help someone else with their problems once my problems are taken care of. If that's your attitude, you'll never help anyone. You'll never carry another's burdens. Here's how I know that. Have you gotten to the place in your life yet where you have no problems? Have you ever gotten to that? Oh, yeah. Has it ever really settled down? Yeah. Has it ever gotten really figured out? Is it ever are you smooth sailing? Really? Really? No. Because that's not the point. The point is not once you take care of all your crap, then you can help people with their crap. No. But what about put your own mask on first? Okay, no. Here's the deal. Here's the truth. Carrying each other's burdens happens simultaneously while you're carrying your own burdens. You carry each other's burdens, right? You don't have to be burdenless to carry another's burdens. In fact, you will help carry theirs while burdening your own, and God will send somebody into your life to help carry yours while you're carrying someone else's, and we carry each other's burdens. And in that way, we fulfill the law of Christ, of loving like we've been loved. And you don't wait until you got it all figured out. We comfort one another while we're going through our own junk. We comfort one another while we're facing our own problems and dealing with our own issues. That's the beauty of this. And that's what it means to go. Never forget that being a blessing is connected to being blessed. Let me switch that around. Never forget that being blessed, which is what I want and you want, right, is always connected to being a blessing to someone else. That's what it means to go. So who is it for you? And how do you need to step into their pain? Even though you got your own issues and your own problems and your own pains, how do you need to get your eyes off your own issues and enter into the issues of someone else? Well, ain't that like the blind leading the blind? Okay, enough with the cliches, okay? Just stop with the excuses. This is how we're designed to function. This is how we're designed to function. Is we heal together, we journey together, we burden carry together, we comfort together. Who is that for you? What do you need to do? In case you need a list, here's one. You might want to take a picture of this one. Here's just some ideas. Begin by listening to their story. Listen to their story. Listen. That means you don't talk and you listen. You ask, how are you? And then you stop talking and you listen to how they are and you stop talking until they've told you really how they are. Because sometimes one of the greatest things you can do for someone else is simply be aware of what they're going through. Because they know you can't fix it. They're not asking you to fix it. Just to be aware. Wives, is that a good message for your husbands? Don't clap. This ain't a marriage seminar. Okay. I hate that. People, Donna will say, I don't want you to fix it. I just want you to listen. Then why'd you tell me? I'm a fixer. That's what I do. I like fixing stuff. I don't know. You like broken stuff? No, I don't. I like fixing stuff. So anyway, all right. I don't know where that came from. That was free. You can edit that part out. That wasn't in the notes. Seriously, some of the most important things you can do for people is to be aware of the burden they're carrying. Isn't that right? And you know people can't fix and solve. Sometimes you just need to know that they know and that they care. Share your story. Share your story. Not like, you think that's bad. Remember this one time? Not one-up each other's story, not outdo one another, but share. You don't have to have the same story. You're not going to have the same story. You don't even have to have gone through what they go through. Sometimes the best thing you can do is say, you know what? I have no idea what that's like, and I'm so sorry. I can't imagine that. But I do want you to know I do know loss. I do know what it's like to hurt. I do know what it's like to be scared. I do know what it's like to not know which way is forward. And I want you to know I'm here. I want to be aware, and I want to help and encourage them. When you encourage someone, you help them see that they are seen, and you help them hear that they are heard, and they feel valued when you encourage them. Maybe for you, you need to help them in a very tangible way. Not just, I'll pray for you. We'll get to that. But help them in a tangible way. As you are helping them carry a burden, it might mean serving them, meeting a need. You got to consider it. Because this is what to go means, gang. And then make sure you pray with and for them. You say, I don't know much about, I'm not a good prayer. You don't have to be professional. I'm not a professional. People think I am. I'm not. I'm just a pastor. And because I'm the pastor, I'm the obligatory prayer guy. If I walk into a room and a prayer needs to be prayed, everybody looks at me. I was like, don't look at me. I don't have a bat phone, God phone. It's not like I got. So I don't have it all figured out with prayer. I'm still learning. But here's what I do know. Some of the key moments in my life have come when people have prayed for and prayed with me. And I've seen God use when I pray for and pray with them. Not because it's me, but because it's Him that we're going to together. Our prayer page on our website and our app helps you do this, by the way. If you're looking for a way to make this a part of your daily and weekly routine, which you should, go to our prayer page. Use that. Pray for one another. Ask people to pray for you, and we do that together. And then you may have an opportunity when it's all said and done. After people know you care and you've helped them experience transformational love, you may have an opportunity to invite them to experience what you're experiencing with you. Maybe invite them to church, invite them to a small group. You never know. But just, hey, come along. Let's do this life together. Come with me. Come sit with me. Come journey with me. Let's do this thing with each other. This is what it looks like to go. Not just with information, but with transformation, which comes through loving people the way Jesus loved them. That's what it means. May God help us to not just say it, but to actually display it and make it happen. Let's pray. Father, thank you. This is the challenge I need. We need. It's so much easier to say it than it is to live it out. But Father, may we simply carry burdens for each other. We can't fix them, we can't make them go away, and we're carrying our own burdens. So help us to focus on carrying each other's burdens and carry someone else's as someone else's helps carry ours. Because we're connected in that way. We belong to one another. We don't just know each other. We belong to each other. We have a responsibility for one another's well-being and to each other. That's by your design in a world where isolation is so much easier and independence wins the day. Lord, we cannot be independent from the people that you say we belong to. Our journeys are connected and dependent on one another by your design. So help us to go, not just with information, but with love that is transformational, that has been in our lives, and you want to use us to be in others' lives. Show us who, show us how, and help us to learn those steps together. That's what the world needs to see. That's what the world needs to experience. And that's what we need to see and experience as well. In Jesus' name, amen. Now we have a great opportunity for you to put this into practice. Just one way to put this into practice. Just one. This is not a box to check. I did that, so I'm good to go. No, we've been telling you over the last few weeks about the Big Serve. The Big Serve is upon us, and it happens next weekend. And here's what it looks like. Next weekend, we will not be having our regular church services at either location on Thursday or Sunday. Instead of coming to church, we're going to go into the community and be the church. So we are not canceling church, just church services. We're not canceling church because we're going to go be the church and serve our community. And so if you show up next week, Jesus will meet you here and tell you you're in the wrong place. And he will say, come with me, we're going out there. So sign up for an opportunity. Many of you have signed up. A lot of you have signed up, and we know that because there's only a few open spaces left. Go to the latest, QR code on the seat back pocket in front of you. Go to the latest on our website or app and sign up for one of the few slots available. If you can't find a slot that fits when you can serve, then make up a serve opportunity on your own. Just don't come to church next week. Serve somebody instead. Meet a need. There's a lot of opportunities around you. Everywhere you go, there's a need. Go be the hands and feet of Jesus and serve somebody else. It's the Big Serve. And if you've signed up for an opportunity to serve and you don't have the Love First t-shirt, got to have that. Well, don't work. I'm just kidding. Now, we want you to have one, right? And it did great, okay? And it's not branding our church. It's not about me. It's not about the summit. It's about what Jesus called us to do. And it is Love First. If you don't have a Love First shirt, you can get one in the lobby on your way out, and we'll make sure that you're equipped with one of those as well. I think that's everything about the Big Serve. I got to tell you, just remind you, don't show up in person. Go be the person in person in the community and help us serve with the love of Jesus. And when you get back in 2 weeks, it would be the second weekend in October already. We're starting a new series. That is the series that you've been anticipating and wondering, and it's called Allegiance. Where's yours? Oh, yeah. We're going there. It's going to get interesting, but I just need to let you know right up front, it's going to challenge you. And I don't even know if you're a Democrat, Republican, or Independent, but it's going to challenge you. It's going to challenge all of us. I'm already challenged. So bring a seatbelt, wear a helmet, knee pads, elbow pads. You're going to be okay. But we're going to have to go some places together and invite your friends. If you've got a political friend that loves to talk political shop, and all this kind of stuff, and they're out, they're the rally going and all that kind of stuff, and that's fine if that's your thing. You bring them with you. Our promise to you is that you'll at least be friends when the service starts. The rest of that we'll leave to Jesus and you. So allegiance, and some of you need to laugh desperately. You're just like, okay, I know you're hangry. We're getting ready to let you go. Thank you so much for being here. Allegiance starts in 2 weeks, but next week, the Big Serve. Let's go be the hands and feet of Jesus. Let's do it. See y'all next time.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed the service. If you'd like to find out more about the Summit, catch up on previous services, or just find out ways you can get connected, check out our app, website, and follow us on social media. Again, thanks so much for watching today, and we hope to see you soon.